Hello and welcome to Nick V Uncensored. Today we've got David Mahoney, and today we're going to be talking about his trip to Hong Kong. He says he was on a spiritual mission. He was called and he just got back, and we're going to find out what's been going on. But just before we begin, we're back on YouTube, and I just want to say this is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Please do your own research, and we are not financial or health advisors or anything like that. But David, tell me what's been going on. How are you?
Oh my God, Nick. I literally just got back. I got back into my house at around 12 o'clock, so 4 hours ago. So I don't even know where to start on this.
Well, let me ask you this. First of all, how did you you say that this was a calling for you. You was guided. It was a spiritual calling. Start from there. How was it a spiritual calling?
Yeah, I need to just compose myself for a second here because the problem with this is it's just going to go bleh. And I need to bring it out in a way that everybody can understand because I've been inundated and bombarded with what the hell is going on. I have made a series of videos while I've been away, but I'll try to explain. So we always know each other by talking about geopolitical stuff. We talk about Trump, we talk about Israel, we talk about bombs, wars, doom and gloom. And I'll be in the summer, this summer, Nick, I took the whole summer off because I'm a little burned out with it. I like to touch on it, but I just think I've been looking for a different path to take on using my broadcasting skills and the knowledge that I've picked up. So I have mentioned this publicly as well. This is not a secret. So what's happened in the last few weeks, Nick, last couple of months, I have had a massive spiritual upgrade. And I've been trying to make head and the tails of it. And I keep getting messages, do this and just do that. Just follow what you're feeling to do, not what you're thinking, follow what you're feeling. So I started making a series of videos about emotions and situations that we all have to go through in our life. And I've been calling them words of wisdom. Okay. So I just did one because I just felt like talking about it. And it started out as some young guys that do my marketing. We're on the golf course. We're hitting some balls in the driving range. And one of them said, I just broke up with a girl that I really like. And I don't know what to do, Mahoney. I don't know. She won't answer my calls. And he said, shall I go around to her house? I started laughing. And basically I said, the worst thing people do is when they have a relationship you care about somebody is they get they jump straight back into it and they do what's called the breakup relationship. So you break up with somebody and then you go straight back into another relationship with somebody else. It's either an ex or somebody new, or you'll go into that previous relationship. And this is the worst thing you can do because the rebound is what they call it.
Rebound.
So because you go there with all that pain and all that drama and all that confusion, and then this person hasn't got a chance of trying to get to know who you really are because you're all confused. And I said, ultimately, they'll fall by the wayside. That will never work because you're not healed from the trauma and experiences you've had from this relationship that you care about. So it was a quick video, and I had thousands of hits on it. And people send me messages saying, oh my God, I never realized it. I was guilty of doing it. Yes, my ex did it. It really hurt when they're posting pictures of them with some new person online. But, we've just spent 4 or 5 years together or 2 years together. And, we were planning to get married, and all of a sudden we break up. And now the son of a bitch is with somebody else that's new, and they always just go for somebody that they can easily control. So they don't go for somebody that's intelligent and they have to fight for the relationship. They'll go for a drongo or a stripper or somebody, like somebody where the intelligence levels are like this, so they can manipulate and control them. So these videos went crazy, and then I did another one and another one and another one, and now I'm making one of these emotional, explanational, awakening, understanding videos to help people on their journey because you can't grow spiritually unless you get hurt. So if you want to understand love, you need to have a broken heart. If you want to understand betrayal and deception, you need to be betrayed and deceived and lied to. All of these emotions make you as a soul, a light working being, stronger. And that's where this came from, right? So last year, I was in Asia with my son traveling around. And I went to Tokyo. When I got off the airplane in Beijing to change to Tokyo, the guy said to me, "Where are you going?" I said, "Hong Kong." And he said, "Well, your ticket says Tokyo." I said, "Oh shit, what did I say?" He said, "Hong Kong." I was like, "Hong Kong, really?" I was like, "Never been there in my life. Never wanted to go." So last week, I started getting this message, Hong Kong. I was going to ring my friend in Singapore. I said, "I'll ring my friend in Hong Kong." He said, "Who are you talking about?" I said, "Marius." He said, "No, no, he lives in Singapore." I said, "What did I say?" Hong Kong. So I had all these synchronizations, Nick, of the word Hong Kong. And then it just came to me saying, "You got to go to Hong Kong. Get yourself to Hong Kong." I was like, "Are you serious? Hong Kong for what? Just go." So I booked a ticket. I contacted a friend of mine. He specializes in really amazing price business class seats. So $2,500 business class from Spain to Hong Kong. That's unheard of. So I said, "Oh, perfect. I'll do that." So I'm going to Hong Kong. I'm like, it was a Monday or something. And I'm like, "Okay, what am I doing here? Tell me what I'm doing." And then 2 hours before I landed in Hong Kong, I get the message, "Look at the date, look at the date, look at the date." I'm like, "Look at the date, look at the date." It comes on, he says, "Today," because I don't wear a watch. I'm not aware of dates, Nick. I'm terrible with dates. I don't. So I look at the date. It was November the 19th, and it's my father's birthday. He's been dead now for 13 years.
Where, when?
November 19
It's my mom's birthday.
Really?
Yes.
That's weird, isn't
That
it?
is funny, that is. Wow.
So November 19th, my dad's birthday, and I was very close to my father. When he got separated and divorced from my mom, I lived with him in my teenage years from 11 to 16. And it wasn't easy because it was in the 80s. Work wasn't great, but he was a good dad. He did what he could. Yeah. So November the 19th, I'm sitting 2 hours outside of Hong Kong, coming in from Shanghai. No, where was I? I was in the other one, Beijing. And I'm like, my dad's birthday. Okay. So when I was a kid, my father told me a story about, he used to joke me, he said, "You know what? You're so blonde and blue-eyed, you could have been half caste. You could have been half Chinese, you." I said, "What are you talking about, half Chinese?" He said, he got sent to Hong Kong when he was forced to join the British Army when he was 22. And he showed me a picture of a woman. I don't know if you've ever seen them, these old antique black and white pictures always had serrated edges around the side. It's like a zigzag on the side of them. That's how the style was in the 50s. He said, "I was so in love with this woman. Her name was Pat, if I remember." And he just showed me these random pictures. And although he married with my mother for like 15 years or something, and they separated, he still had these pictures of this girl. I said, "Okay, whatever." I was young. I didn't care. So basically, Nick, in a nutshell, I put the whole story together. I was like, "Oh my God, I get it." And it was all about gematria, about numbers. So my father, he told me he was 22 when he was in Singapore, and Hong Kong first, then Singapore later. And I worked it out from his date of birth that the same day or the same year, it was 67 years ago. Now, for about the last 2 months, I've been seeing the number 67 everywhere. 67, 67, 67. Now, something else happened recently I can't talk publicly about. It's too personal. It'll come to light in due time. But the 67 was part of this incident as well. And if you can imagine, you've got two circles, Nick. If you imagine two circles, as you bring them together, the two circles will have a point where they ellipse, and there's a centerpiece inside there. So you got a bit of a circle there, a bit of a circle here, but as the two circles intertwine, you get that one in the middle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I forgot.
Right.
Is it a symbol? Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not a symbol. It's just like it's like two semicircles, but as they cross, I haven't got anything circular. So there's two parts of this story, and it's an incredible story. And the reason I'm telling it is the end goal is for people to tune in. This is where I'm going to go with this. You've got to tune in because you get messages all the time. You just don't know how to interpret them. So the second part of the 67, I'd figured out the second part, which is from the UK, from Ireland, and from Egypt. I'd figured all that out. So I was like, holy shit, I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh, wow. I mean, there was 6 parts of this 67, and I did all the numbers. I was like, oh, my God. I totally understand what that is now. I was like, shit. And it's part of a karmic curse. So I got all that side. I thought, a lot of that I can't control, but I understand it. But I said, this other side, there's another 67 here. So I get to Hong Kong. I figure out that my father's been there. 67 years ago. And then when all the other maths came along, I did all the gematria. It ended up with the other numbers that I span, I wrote them down. It ended up being 54. So I'm arriving in Hong Kong on my father's birthday 67 years ago. It ties into the karmic curse over here in England, Ireland, and Egypt. And then my age is 54, which takes away from the date, the age he was when he died, to how many years ago it was. So I was like, oh shit, this is about my dad. And then I had that sudden memory of him talking about a woman that he loved in Hong Kong. So I thought, this is a karmic curse that is ancestral. I just got the download. And how this works is your grandfather can do something and it'll get passed on to his son, and you're next in line, and then you're off down the line, and my children. So basically, my mother cheated on my dad, was terrible with him, and it broke his heart. He never, ever got over it. But how karma works, Nick, is because he did something bad to this girl in Singapore, he either cheated on her or left her pregnant, maybe both, I don't know. He then got his karma paid back from my mother cheating on him, and he had his heart broken, and he never recovered because he'd started a curse back here in Hong Kong in 1955. And that curse passed on to me because I started analyzing my relationships. I said, you know what? I've never had that amazing, beautiful, long-lasting female companionship like a storybook. And I said, why wouldn't I? I deserve that. I thought this is I didn't really ever understand why. I wasn't particularly searching for it, but most people will have a long-term relationship. I've had a couple, but they haven't been amazing. They've just gone on and on. I should have stopped it years ago, but for convenience, you just stay in there. So I started thinking about that. I said, hang on a second. My father never had it. He had his heart broken by my mother. And then my mother met somebody else. And then that guy did the same thing to her, cheated on her and broke her heart. This is how karma works. You get, whatever you do, you get paid back. So then I started looking at my own relationships, and I've got a 28-year-old son. Now, he's handsome, he's really smart, but he's never had a girlfriend. I keep saying, why have you never had a girlfriend? He says, I meet a girl for a couple of weeks, a month, 6 weeks. Doesn't work out. So what I figured out, Nick, was I had to go back to Hong Kong to clear a karmic inheritance of a curse with relationships that had been passed down from my dad. And actually, maybe it was his father that gave it to him because he never knew his father. His mother was 16 when she was pregnant in 1936, Catholic Island. That's like one of the worst things that could happen to a girl. And he disappeared and ran away. So he passed that on. So my role in Hong Kong was to go back there and tune into the ancestors and ask for them, say, listen, we've paid back that karmic curse enough now between what happened to my father, my relationship history, and also I don't want this passed on to my son. So I backtracked where my father was stationed in the military bases, and I went to a point which is a very busy tourist point. And I remember I saw a photograph in his book, and when I looked at the viewpoint, I was like, oh my God, this is the photograph I saw like 67 years ago. So the reason I was called back, that they sent me a message to go back there, was you'll never be able to carry on in finding any relationship that means anything to you, that you're going to have that perfect partner next to you, unless you clear this karmic ancestral curse, for want of a better word, penance. So that's why I had to go back to Hong Kong. And the whole thing just flowed like clockwork, Nick. I got back on the 19th. I knew exactly where I had to go. I got there in sort of mid-afternoon, about 2:00, got settled, thought, okay, how do I even do this? Who do I even try to contact? Because what you do is you tune in and say, okay, who do I talk to? What phone number do you call? Hey, I'm calling the karmic relationship hotline. Who do you call? So you just got to throw your hands up to spirit, to God, whatever you believe in, and just say, okay, this is what I need to do, guys. Can you help me? And oh my God, the emotion just came flooding in, bang. And it was so overwhelming, but it was going from teary eyes into laughing. And then on my dad's birthday, I cleared all that energy and sat down on the terrace alone on the 26th floor of this hotel room, looking out over Hong Kong Island, and had a couple of whiskeys, which is what he used to like to do, some Irish whiskeys, and cleared the whole thing. So that's what I've been going through. And it's an amazing, amazing experience because once you clear this stuff, because it's like having this little memory that you can't quite. What is that? What is that anxious feeling I've got? What is that? What is that? I can't quite put my hand in. Did I leave the kettle on? Is the iron on? Is there a light on in the house? You know, should I unplug the television instead of just putting the remote?
Mm.
So that's what I've been doing, Nick. And another huge sweeping of emotional upgrades. And like, okay, now this is the next step. And then I made another couple of these words of wisdom videos, which again, you should read the comments that people are leaving. Oh my God, Mahoney, thank you so much. I needed that right now. I never understood it. That's helped me so much. I've sent that to my daughter. We were both crying about what happened. You know, it's about one of the other videos. I said, listen, you need to be the hero of your own movie because you have poignant moments in your life. You just don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm. So
Yeah.
why some may argue space is an illusion. Why did you travel to Hong Kong where you could have done this energetically?
You know what? Somebody put that in one of the comments, and I thought, yes, I could have. I could have done it probably, but I would never have known. I would never have figured it out because the whole thing about Hong Kong and arriving there on my father's birthday, it was that moment when they said, look at the date, then I got everything. I would never have figured that out unless
So you're
somebody
saying that
told me.
because you went there, you actually retrieved some information
Yeah, it was the
in the
job.
3D.
Yeah, it was the 3D literal event that I had to do. And can you imagine? It took about 18 hours to get there. I had to go from Malaga, Madrid overnight, Barcelona, then into Beijing, and then wait 5 hours at 5 in the morning in Beijing, then going to Hong Kong, and then 2 hours outside of Hong Kong. I said, I have no clue what I'm doing here. What am I going to do here? I don't know anybody there. It's not like I'm going to go clubbing. That's not my scene at all. What am I going to do in Hong Kong for 4 nights, 4 days, 4 nights? I'm like, what am I doing here? So it's like, okay, show me, explain to me, because like I'm baffled now. Come on, guys, give me something. And then I just heard, look at the date. I was like, look at the date. And then I realized, so if I'd known, yes, you could do that energetically, but I still think if it's something ancestral, Nick, you have to walk in the footsteps of your ancestors because that's what they say. What we do today echoes in the corridors of time. Came from Gladiator. He said something along those lines. Our actions will echo down through the corridors of time. So you have to do the right thing. And walking in my father's footsteps from 67 years ago was exactly the right thing to do because I came back and said, okay, this is where the problem started. This is where this woman had either abandoned or took off on, or she forced him out. I think he left because he was 22, a 22-year-old guy with a local girl pregnant. And I don't know if this is the case for sure. I'm just, this is the feeling I have. I definitely know that there was a broken heart because that's what happened to him. But the pregnancy thing would just put the icing on the cake because you abandon a girl in those days who's got pregnant by a foreigner and she was a local. I mean, this was a massive problem for the family of embarrassment, and he just took off. And again, this is just a feeling. I don't have this as factual, but this is what I'm feeling from the stories he told me, the pictures I saw. So I'm walking in the footsteps to come back to show that the ancestors of her family as well, saying, listen, I represent the sins of my father. And I've come back here today to ask for forgiveness for what my father did. That karmic debt is paid. Please forgive it. Let it go. Please forgive us because it's passed on to me. It'll be passed on to my son. It'll be passed on to his sons. Maybe he won't have any sons. If the karmic debt is that great, you're not going to have the opportunity to have them, especially if it's in this department.
Is it asking for forgiveness or is it actually forgiving ourselves?
Both. Both, please forgive us. You know, I said actually in the ceremony I was doing, which I went up on the top of the mountain and did it. I said, my father didn't understand the gravity. He was a 22-year-old kid. You don't understand when you're 22. I understand. I'm 54. I understand the gravity of his actions and the repercussions that must have gone down through the line because I didn't pick up the phone book and looking if there's any old Mahonies in there. There probably would be any Mahonies in Hong Kong. But this is the respect that I thought was needed for me to return to the scene of the crime and to say, I'm here representing my ancestor and your ancestors. And I'm asking for you to consider releasing the karmic debt and canceling this curse, for want of a better word. I don't have another word for it, but And it worked, Nick. There was a massive lifting for the energetics. I felt euphoric. I was like, wow, this is great. And the other 3 days after that, I had a really nice time. And I still went and did the homage to the areas where the tourist areas, because I knew that's where he would gone. And I went to the barracks where he was stationed. There was 3 possibilities, and I went to 2 of them. The other one had been torn down, but I went to 2 of them. And then I went to the tourist zones where I recognized a picture. He'd been up there, and there was a picture of him sat up there with that woman on top of this. Because there's a really famous old cable car called the Peak Tram. And I saw the picture, and I remember, oh, he was here with her up there. So really intense, really emotional, but very uplifting and rewarding, Nick.
So has this got to do with, you mentioned your son now, who's 28, just doesn't go anywhere. So.
Oh no, my son's been everywhere. My son, he's a nomad. He's a digital nomad, and he goes to one place for a month, and then he move on to a different country or a different city. He's been everywhere, everywhere. I mean, he's probably 35, 50 countries, something like that. In COVID, he was living in a place that was free, and then when they would get clocked down, he'd move on to a different country. So he's been everywhere. But at 28, he's a really good looking, like strikingly handsome guy. He's one of these guys who say, hey, don't let him in the bar, because none of us will have a chance to meet any other girl in the bar. It's very handsome. But he's never had anything more than a couple of weeks or maybe a month, and then they go and come back. And I'm saying, it's weird. You've never had a girlfriend, Josh.
Maybe a lot of women are insecure of good-looking guys, very good-looking guys.
Well, I wouldn't say he's gonna, if he's going to cause car crashes, but he's certainly striking. He's tall. He's my height. He looks exactly kind of how I looked in my youth.
He must be very good looking then.
Very, very handsome. I tell you what, if I was to use him in a film, Nick, and flash forward to the age difference, absolutely people believe it. And I've seen people go like this at us, because sometimes I'm very affectionate. I give him a hug. And then I see these people looking at us saying, oh, you creepy old gay guy, look at you hugging and kissing that young guy. And he's normally got a bit of a beard on. I give him a kiss on the cheek, and I can see people looking at us like I'm the weird, creepy gay guy who's got a young boyfriend. And then I turn around and say, he's my son, you moron. And they go, oh, my God, I see it now.
Oh, my God. Yeah, that's funny.
I'm not grabbing them by the ass or anything. It's just a big hug,
Well, so, yeah, David, thank you so much for sharing that with us today. What's your main message to the people?
The main message here, Nick, yeah, you're right. Now, I've witnessed your spiritual transformation and upgrades. You've really surprised me. And every time we have a chat, I always talk about it. And this message is going out for people all over the place. You just don't know when it's going to come. You know us both now. This is for the audience, the viewer. You've known Nick and myself, have you been watching us between the Charlie Ward interviews and all the other stuff we've done over the last 5 years. And now things are changing. We're talking about different things. And I think it's so important, because if you want to advance and grow as a person, as who you are, you need to tune in to your spiritual journey, because you can be the best person. You can earn the best money and put your kids in the best school and buy the best food and drive the best car, wear the best watches. But that doesn't make you the best person. The only thing that's going to make you the best person is inside here. And if you don't do the work to heal from past traumatic experiences, to grow from your pain, when you get kicked in the balls and you get kicked in the stomach emotionally, you can't stay on the floor crying. You've got to pick yourself up and say, okay, why did this happen to me? What is the lesson I'm supposed to learn here? What am I meant to understand about this recent pain? Whether you got cheated out of work or business, or somebody lied to you and they cheated you in a contract, or whether your wife or your husband or your girlfriend, boyfriend, they ran around and cheated on you. You'll always say, oh, it was my fault. Maybe I should have been more warm and loving. Maybe I should have given them a promotion. They wouldn't have done it. No, it normally isn't, unless you're a complete bastard. You've got to understand the lessons that you learn in life and why they're there, and try to understand it so you can grow from it. Because ultimately, this is what it's all about, us becoming better people. I just did a video recently, Nick, and it's called, Would You Want to Be Your Own Savior? And in a nutshell, it's an exercise where you bring the person back into a traumatic childhood incident. And I'm just going to give you one so you get the idea. You're 6 years old and you come face to face with a very angry dog. It's barking, it's the dog's about to bite you, it's about to attack you, and you're alone. Your mum and dad, your brother and sister, your teacher, nobody there. It's just you and the dog, and you're full of fear. And at that moment, you go into this fight or flight mode. You think you're going to die. And at that moment, if you could transport yourself back from who you are now, it's not where you are, it's who you are, the person you are right now. If you could time travel back to that moment where you remember how scared you were as a child and there was nobody there to save you, if you were to travel back to that moment and reach out and help that child, would you, as a child, trust you as an adult to save you? That's the person you need to be. You need to be in that energy field where you know that you could be that savior. And if you're not, you need to do more work. If you can go back, you like that. It's
Yeah.
profound, isn't it? You've got to be the person that is the savior. If you can save yourself from that traumatic incident, because you know how kids are. If they can sense things, if they look at you and they don't know, I don't trust him, they'll put their head down. But is that child who's you going to say, lift his arms, raise his arms and say, save me?
What you're saying is it's like you're using it as a reflection of yourself, who you are today, because children are very present. They live in the moment and they have very good intuition because of that.
Exactly. So if you don't think that that child would reach out with open arms and an open heart and relax and say, oh my God, Superman is here, Wonder Woman is here to save me. If you know deep in your heart that yes, they would, then you're on your right path. You are that right journey, walking speed. But if you know deep inside, and you can't lie to yourself, you can maybe kid yourself, but you won't be able to look in the mirror and say, oh, yeah. You might answer yes if that question is asked to you in a public format, but ask it in a private format and say, no, that's not who I am. That child would not reach up comfortably. He would reach out to me because I'm the only option he's got. But if that child was to open his arms and you would feel love and salvation saying, oh, my savior is here, then you're on your right journey. And if you're not, that's where you need to be. You got to do the internal work and keep going with it like that. And this is what's occurred to me over the last 2.5, 3 months, Nick. This is that energy that's just been flowing into me saying, this is what you got to do, Mahoney. We want you to talk about this from now on. I'm thinking, I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
But I just keep getting these surges of creative understanding and putting it into words and putting it into videos. And yeah, that's why I went to Hong Kong. And I think I told you off camera, I'm doing another one now, which is not the same sort of personal thing, but I am going away in mid-December. And we're going to do some lives, Nick, you and me, while I'm away. And we'll pre-record them so we can get them out. But you're on the same journey. You're on that searching and seeking knowledge about the powers that we have. You talk about us being a supreme being. We are our own gods. I believe there's only one being, which is awareness, and that the illusion, the separation, like you and I, you are David, I am Nicholas. But that's the illusion, because there is no separation. It's only the illusion of separation. But the only thing that exists is one awareness, which operates in all of us. So there's only one being, and which is awareness. It's within all of us, but it's one being, and we're in a dream. But only one being is dreaming it. And a mirror, a mirror cannot see itself without a reflection, and that's why God or awareness has dreams, so it can reflect itself backwards, so that it can remember it is a source awareness within form. I like that. You know, years ago, I don't even remember who told me this, but it was one of these conversations where I thought I was, pretty sharp, and I was, I know about this. And the gist of the conversation, he said, we're all connected. He said, all of us as humanity are connected on different levels. And you might not think, there's nothing connected with me. But he said, well, put it this way. He said, we all have an energetic field. So when you shake hands with somebody, a little bit of your energy is transferred into them. A little bit, tiny little micro part of your soul. And it's always within them. And then they'll shake hands with somebody else and shake hands with somebody else. So your tiny particle of an energetic soul source residual energy gets passed around from human to human to human to human. So eventually, we're all covered. We all are connected. Doesn't
Mm.
matter what color, creed, religion, or where we live. There's always a little piece that is always floating around. And I kind of like that feeling because in the moments of darkness, for example, have you ever seen anybody have some form of a heart attack or an epileptic seizure in public?
No.
Right. Okay. So I have quite a few times actually. So imagine in a public space, let's just say you're in a shopping center
Hmm.
and an old fellow will just collapse on the floor with a heart attack. And what's more scary is an epileptic attack. And my grandmother had epilepsy and she used to always, in the shopping centers, the strip lights, the tube lights, Nick, they actually flash on and off like 100,000 times a second or something ridiculous.
Right.
Strobe lighting. So for epilepsy, these lighting that they used to have in all of the shops on and off like that, it triggers epilepsy. So she had she used to happen quite often. So she had an epileptic attack, and then you'll see who the angels are that will just come out of nowhere. All of a sudden, there's 3 or 4 people that just want to help. Oh, I used to be a nurse, so I know about this, and that, what can I do to help? And then you'll see other people just saying, "Oh, that's not happening. I don't want to talk about it." You'll see the people that are not comfortable with it, that are not in that right energetically. I'm here to assist humanity. It's a very easy way of thinking about it because if it's put straight in your face like that, you got to stop and help. Now, I've been guilty of this, of not helping. Cars are a thing to me, right? So I can see the way a guy's driving a car. I say, yeah, he's either. And then I see an accident, nothing serious. He'll run off the road and kind of slide into the ditch. And I say, there's no point in stopping because I can see there's like 5 or 6 other people automatically stopped. Now, whether they're there to help or whether they're just there to be curious and morbid, rubbernecks. So I have stopped in the past when it's only been me there, and I have stopped and helped people. But most of the time I'll say, well, there's enough people around there. I don't need to help. It's just something minor. But that's it. Assisting humanity is the name of the game. This is where we all need to be. And we've become a society of recluses.
Mm.
Last night at the airport, there's a guy sitting next to me, right? And I see him walking around all over the place trying to find a phone charger. This is in the business lounge, right? And I had my bag and my coat over it, so he didn't see mine. I was just sitting right opposite. So I see him walking around. And then I just started holding up my cable. I said, here. And I said, use mine. So he's an Italian guy. And he was out in China because he buys the fabric for manufacturing clothes in Italy. And he's with his wife. He'd been in China 4 days. And we talked for 2 hours just about life. He was a bit older than me. He was telling me about his business, his kids, 2 kids, boy and a girl. And I thought, how nice is that? That's a conversation. Because most people are just doing this. The art of conversation and sharing and interacting with humans now. He loved it. He's like, oh, you're a most interesting guy. Come on, we have another glass of wine because you get free wine. So we're drinking red wine. It's amazing. I like this. Tell me another one. What do you do? And he was a quiet, normal guy. I would never have spoken to him had I not seen what he was doing and then just started talking to him. People don't do this anymore. This interaction between humanity, we've become a society that have been educated. Don't talk to people. Don't share your inner thoughts. Don't share your visions and dreams and political opinions. He loved this new right-wing Italian prime minister. Yes, she's doing a good job. I get to these people. They don't work. Why are they here? They don't need to pay nothing. We pay everything for that. So, but had I not initiated that, I would have just sat there and I would have been one of those people scrolling on the phones, looking, listening to a song. Oh, I'll give that a like. I'm not much of a sort of internet, Facebook sort of thing. It's got busier and busier now, but we need to interact with people. We need to share our experiences. We need to show them who we are. We need to open up our humanitarian side, our humanity, to share old stories, tell him a joke. He told me a joke. I told him a joke. He says he went to Ireland once and he went to buy an Italian newspaper. And the Irish guy said to him, are you looking for anything there in particular there, sir? What are you looking for? Are you looking for a newspaper, are you? He said, yes, I'm looking for the Italian newspaper. Then the old Italian newspapers used to be like this pinkish color. And the Irish guy said to him, he said, Are you looking for today's or yesterday's? Are you looking for today's or tomorrow's? He says, what are you talking about? No, hang on, he said. He said, are you looking for today's paper? He said, yes, I'm looking for today's paper. This one is from a yesterday. This is old. I don't want the old one. I want the new one from today. Yeah? And the Irish guy said to him, if you want today's newspaper from Italy, you better come back tomorrow for that because we get them one day later.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Irish logic,
Mm.
he just didn't explain it. You know, they always get them 24 hours late. They get them faster now, but in the old days, but he'd never forgotten that story and he couldn't wait to share it with me. The art of conversation and interacting with humans as we are to share our life experiences and just have that connection with total strangers. Nobody does it anymore.
Yeah, of course. No, of course. I completely agree with you. But David, yeah, I mean, thank you for sharing all that with us today. It's been absolutely amazing. Yeah, yeah.
It's been a bit weird that if anybody wants to watch my stuff, it's so easy. Just go onto YouTube and type in Talking with Mahoney, or you can go to mahoney.tv. But these new series of videos, if you're looking to enhance your journey or some information about anything, if you're feeling pretty comfortable, the videos I make one every 3 days. They're going to be coming out. I'm putting them on YouTube, and they're specifically there to help you on your journey to find out who you are and to tune in and to improve yourself, to become that person that you want to be, to save that child.
Exactly. That's amazing. No, of course. All right, David. Well, listen, you take care and thank you very much again. And I'll see you on the next one.
All right, buddy. I'm
Okay.
sorry to burn your brains out, but I'm
No, I loved it.
overflowing with energy today. And it's great to be back on, Nick. I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
You too. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye bye, mate.